Hey everybody, I'm going to share a tool that we've had for almost 18 years called Content Aware Scale, where we might want to do something very unique that we can't get with the crop tool. And think about this, absolutely no AI at that time. Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography, and as a photo artist, trying to push ourselves creatively out of the box. All right, this thing we're going to talk about today, or tool I should say, and feature in Photoshop, I had to look this up because we've had it for so many years. Now I'm thinking maybe about 10, 12 years. Well, it came out with CS4, and we're going on, as of this recording in 2026, we're approaching about 18 years on this. So let's take a look at how we could use this tool three different ways. And again, it's using something called Content Aware Scale. Are we ready? Let's dive into Photoshop. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm going to work on three different images. I'm going to give you different strategies that we could use using this tool. So let's take a look at Photoshop here. This is the first image I'm going to work on. I'll tell you a little bit background story on that in a minute. I'm going to work on this one and this one. Now, let's talk about this image right here. And I did not take this image. I don't know who the photographer was, but this was actually featured in a car magazine. I'm not a car person, but a good friend of mine is. He collects Pontiac Fieros, and he has them totally like rebuilt and customized, and eventually he sells, one or two off when he gets tired of them, I guess. Anyhow, so this picture was taken and it was going to be featured in the magazine, but they didn't care for the aspect ratio. They wanted it to be more, say, toward the square shape, and you could easily just crop it, to that size. And but they didn't want to lose this palm tree when you cropped it. So if they did crop it, it would come across right there and sort of like chop it. So this was a great candidate for Content Aware Scale. So what you do is, just to show you, this is just a generic, background layer, and Content Aware Scale will not be activated. It'll be grayed out because it's a background layer. So just show you, if you go to the Edit drop-down menu, come about halfway down, there's Content Aware Scale, but again, notice it's grayed out. You have to make this a normal layer. Just click on the little padlock that unlocks it. Now it becomes a normal layer. So now if I go back to Edit and I choose Content Aware Scale, you're going to get, it looks like, like a free transform tool. Hold the Shift key down. And as I come to the top right here, and I'm holding that Shift key down, click and drag down, you can see that it's identifying, let me let go and just choose Enter on the keyboard, or the check mark right there. It's identifying automatically that it's looking at it and determining that the major subject matter here is the car. And it's protecting that car as I rescale that or resize the, say visually, the aspect ratio of that image, but it's keeping intact the palm tree in the background. So now that's all I have to do is go to the, let's go to Image, Trim feature right here in Photoshop, and just make sure it's set to transparent pixels. Make sure all those are activated, which I believe is your default. Click on OK, and there you go. So I'm going to come back to this image a little bit later because I want to share with you different strategies, because what if this doesn't work? What could I have done? And so I'm going to share that with you in a minute. So let's take a look at this. Now, this is a stock image. It's not mine. I can't remember where I got it. But again, if I want to change the aspect ratio of this, and I'm going to turn this off again. Let's make it a normal layer. So I'm going to get rid of that padlock. Then I'm going to go to the Edit drop-down menu, Content Aware Scale. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold the Shift key down. Now, it should determine that when I do this, that the main subject here is, well, part of the bridge probably, but also these people that are walking. So if I hold that Shift key down, click and drag, you can see what's happening. And again, enter on the keyboard and readjust that. Let it do its thing, and I'm going to go back to the Image drop-down menu, choose Trim again, and just choose OK to get rid of the pixels, and there I go. So again, it was really cool technology at that time. Once in a while, you might want to use something like this rather than trying AI at all, which might turn into a mess. This typically works pretty well, but what if it doesn't? What are some of my choices I can choose to do. So I'm going to go to this one, another, again, stock image. And again, clients tend to be very, I don't even know the correct word would be, but in other words, if I needed this to be more of a, I don't know, vertical versus horizontal image, and I would just say, hey, let's crop the image right here, but that would get rid of the tree there. And that, client might say, hey, I like the tree there because it sort of frames the shot, blah, blah, blah. So they don't want to lose that. So this could be a candidate, again, for content-aware scale. But watch what happens when I get rid of the padlock there to make it a normal layer, and I go back to the edit drop-down menu, and I come down to content-aware scale. I'm going to hold the shift key, and I'm going to move to the right now with this. So holding the shift, click and drag, and as I move this to the right, you can see what's happening to the graduate there. And of course, I could be funny and say, well, I never liked the kid anyhow, but bad thing, let's not go there. Okay, so let me put that back. So this is not working. So what could be some of my choices to make this work better? And one choice is right up here, and that is, as I hover over this point, a little tip will come out and tell you that this will protect skin tones. So yes, I do have skin tones there. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hold that shift key down again, click and drag to the right, and you can see now it's protecting his face and his hands because those are skin tones, but it's disforming the body. And so again, this is not working. So I'm going to turn that off. So that was my second attempt. So now let's go back to, I'm just going to click on the layer here. Let's go to the third attempt, which is, in my opinion, the most powerful one. And then I'm going to talk about how it could have been used over here. So let's go back over here. And what I'm going to do is I need to make a selection of this person. And it doesn't have to be that accurate, but I'm just going to go to my, use whatever tools you want to use, but I have the contextual taskbar right here. And again, you'll find it under the Windows drop-down menu if yours is not there, all the way down to the bottom. I just have mine anchored to the very top here. And I'm just going to choose, hey, select subject. And let's see what it does. Okay, so it selected the subject. Now you can remember years ago, we didn't have a tool like that. So we would just use a basic selection tool and just click and drag over to select them. And again, it didn't have to be perfect. But now what I'm going to do is once that selection is made, I'm going to go to the select drop-down menu here, and I'm going to choose Save Selection. And I'm going to call this Grad for Graduate. You can call it whatever name you want to give it, and click on OK to accept that. I'm going to get rid of my marching ants. So I'm just doing Control D like in David, Command D on a Mac to get rid of the selection there. And now what I could do is when I come back to Edit drop-down menu and I choose Content-Aware Scale, and now I get to do this. Right here at the very top where it says Protect, it's set to None. In the drop-down menu, Grad, that is my saved selection. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to hold the Shift key down again, click and drag to the right, and look at that. I'm really going to push this. Now notice that because I have that active selection, I'm telling it to protect that area where that selection was, and that's the grad right there, right? And I'm just going to hit enter on the keyboard or hit the check mark there on the status bar. It doesn't matter which way you do that. And then again, I'm just going to go to image drop-down menu, come down to trim, make sure it's set to pixels, transparent pixels, top left and bottom right over there, and just click on OK to accept that. And there we go. So I kept that in my image right there as I cropped that. It's amazing how it just knew to leave this naturally looking there. And if you saw this the first time, you would not know that I did what I just did. So again, a very niche market. And by the way, if you're learning anything, if you can do me a favor here, and that is like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit that notification bell. Next time I upload a video, you'll get notified on that. Now let's go back again to the car right here, and I'll just throw out a question, and that is, oops, didn't want to do that. I just wanted to zoom in on this. So we'll just make this a little bit bigger. Well, maybe not that big, Steve. The question I have for you is, if I did this readjustment and I saw that the car was starting to squeeze down, what would I do? Well, I would undo that, and then I would select the car. So I'm just curious if I choose select subject here. If it will, yeah, there we go. So I would just select that, and I would come over here to a selection drop-down menu, choose Save Selection, call that car. Now I've already, reestablished the size here, but deselect my marching ants with Control D or Command D on a Mac. That gets rid of my selection. And then again, if I ever use that tool again, where I go to Edit, Content Aware Scale, and again, protect car. So that's my choice right there. So now if I hold the Shift key down, I can probably push that more. And even the foreground is being squished, but I'm protecting that darn car. So I just wanted you to see the different choices and options you have in using something called Content Aware Scale. It's a very, very niche situation, but it's a really cool way of solving a problem if you need to change, say, the aspect ratio of an image, but you want to keep intact as much as possible without cropping it away. And again, this came out with CS4 back in 2008, before all this AI stuff. So once again, hopefully you learned something here. If you have any questions or issues, my email address is right here at the bottom of the screen. It's stephenphotoartist@gmail.com. You'll also find that in the show notes. Until next time, let's get that camera out. Let's try to work creatively, literally out of the box. Again, till next time, see ya.